Hey, very short video today, but what I want to talk about is appreciation. A lot of people talk about gratitude and obviously being grateful for what you have, but personally, appreciation, the word appreciation is much more powerful for me. And let's get out of the sun. But ultimately, appreciation really comes down to the things that you have in your life right now. How often do you actually stop to appreciate what you have? Because what you focus on, you create more of, right? So if you want to experience more joy, more happiness, and a sense of fulfillment, then you've got to actually stop and start to appreciate the things that you actually have right now, and really give it some energy, give it some thought, give it some feeling, feel it. Don't just do it because I should do a gratitude journal, I should, appreciate certain things, but really get yourself in state. I shared a post the other day about box breathing. So one thing I do is I'll box breathe. I'll take 4 seconds in. So I'll be breathing in, holding that in breath for 4 seconds, and then out over 4 seconds. I'll do that 3 or 4 times. I'll get myself in a good state, get really present, and then from that place I will then appreciate certain things. Now, a lot of people talk about, it's just about having a positive mind and having a positive state of mind, etc. That's great, but they don't consider the neuroscience, and they don't consider that actually when you are in a completely different brain center, when you're under threat, when you've got a lot of stress going on and you don't feel particularly appreciative of anything. I can tell you firsthand when I've experienced those moments, and I still do at times. We all go through it. It's part of growth. But when you're in that mindset, when you're in that, I'm going to call it brain set, when you're in that different part of your brain, you don't appreciate anything. Like, everything is fucking shit. There's periods of times when I've traveled and I've been standing on some of the most iconic beaches in the world, and I've stood there, but because I was in threat, I've stood there and not really appreciated any of it. So the first thing you have to do is you have to get yourself out of threat, and a very simple way of doing that is breathing. Box breathing is a very simple, effective way of switching your nervous system, getting yourself in that parasympathetic state. And all of a sudden, when you come out of that state and you start feeling clearer in your mind, from that place you can start to feel that appreciation, and it starts to actually, generate as an emotion. You start to feel it more, and the more you focus on that, the more intensity you give it. So I've spoken before about attention, intention, repetition. The more attention you give to appreciation, the more meaning you give to it, the more importance you give to it, the more intention you give it. And the more you repeat that, and you go over it, and you go over it, and you go over it, and you do it on a daily basis, and you practice appreciating, and you practice that feeling, all of a sudden things start to change, and all of a sudden you can actually access that place of happiness and joy very, very quickly. So how often do you appreciate what you have right now? First question. And second question, does it make sense to you that when you appreciate the things that you have right now, you actually enjoy the journey more? And when you enjoy the journey more, you're more often and more likely going to get to where you'd like to get to much, much faster, as opposed to pushing it away in the distance. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that's useful. Please share below if that's useful. Please share below if you actually do practice some kind of appreciation or gratitude or anything like that. It'd be really interesting to hear your perspective on it, because some people, they know about it, but they're not doing it. It's actually the case for a lot of people. A lot of people that come to work with me, they're like, Chris, a lot of the stuff you talk about, I know, I've practiced before, but for some reason I can't find myself doing it right now. Now, more often, the answer to that is because you don't know why it's important. You're not often clear on why it's important. We know that we need to appreciate stuff, but why? What difference does that make? What impact does that have on our lives? What impact does that have on our business? What impact does that have on our relationships? What impact does that have on our happiness? And what impact does our happiness have on our friends, our family, our business partners, our, colleagues, whatever? So it's all interlinked. And appreciation is a really good tool of getting to that place. So share below. Speak soon.